You know, sometimes I look at my writing and I think to myself, move over Shakespeare, Nicholas is here. And other times I'll look at that same piece of writing and think, are these even words? And it's during those periods when I tend to ask myself the question, so should I just give up? Well, this is how you find the answer to that question. You know, there are certain periods of time when I find myself struggling to write. And it's not that I'm having a bad writing day. Sometimes I go for weeks or even months without writing something that I really like. And sometimes I can't write anything at all. These are the times when I start to ask myself, do I have what it takes? Or maybe the universe is trying to tell me that this is something I shouldn't be doing. Should I just give up? But giving up is such a taboo nowadays. It's even more taboo than some of the traditional taboos. But is giving up really such a bad thing? I mean, maybe it's for the best. So I decided to consider it seriously. I wanted to find out once and for all if I should continue pursuing writing as a career or give it up entirely. And so I did. And I found two possible reasons why I should give up. The first reason I'm considering giving up is, it's so hard. Wait a second, but before I started writing my first book, did I know how to write a novel? No. Have I ever written fiction before? No. And did I find the entire process really challenging? Yeah. And that's when I realized I wasn't giving up because it was too difficult. After all, I've done many difficult things before without even considering giving up. For example, writing my first book with no experience. You see, I think saying it's too difficult is one of those reasons we tell ourselves when we don't want to find out the actual reason. Because the truth is, there are many difficult things in life that we do all the time, like studying for an exam or taking care of your family. So when we say we don't want to do something because it's too difficult, there's likely another reason, which leads me to my second reason. Hardly anyone's reading my work.
Yeah, Nick, how do you make a career out of writing when nobody gives a damn about your work?
Yeah, but what if Vincent van Gogh stopped painting because nobody gave a damn about his work?
Yeah, and that's why he died poor and insane. I mean, this guy.
Yep, you're definitely going to hell.
Well, where do you think my office is?
The truth is, not having an audience for your work shouldn't be a deal breaker. Just because things are not going your way is not a good reason to give up. After all, you only needed to go your way once. In fact, here's a list of people who only needed it to go their way once before they took off on a path to success. Albert Einstein, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Walt Disney, and Thomas Edison. So you see, just because things are not going your way now doesn't mean it'll never go your way. In the words of Jim Carrey,
as far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass.
So these are my two reasons for wanting to give up. Number one, it was too difficult. And number two, I wasn't getting noticed. And what do these two reasons have in common? Go on, I'll give you some time to think. That's right, there's no certainty. And that's the real reason why I was thinking of giving up. I just wasn't certain I could make it as a writer. But just like things that are not going your way, the lack of certainty is never a good reason to give up on something. Why? Well, firstly, nothing is 100% certain. And secondly, I think trying to achieve certainty instead of living the life you want will leave you unfulfilled. And guess what? Maybe you'll be certain about financial security, but you might not be able to guarantee that on your deathbed, you'll be certain that you gave it your all to be authentically you. You see, a friend of mine recently reminded me of a newspaper article about the most common regrets people had on their deathbed. And one of it was, I wish I had the courage to live a life that was true to myself. If anything, that's the only certainty you should aim to have, and that is to live a life that is true to yourself. So, what did I learn from this? I learned that the lack of certainty is definitely not a good reason to give up on something. But there is one reason why I, or anyone for that matter, should give up on their dreams. And that's something I'll talk about in part 2 of this episode. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!